Green Kitchen. Green Kitchen. What the fuck, man? Let's cook some food. Green Kitchen. I love food. No shit, no shit, no shit, no shit, no shit, no shit.
Yo, I'm already cooking because I only have 23 minutes left on my SD card and I only have one. This is onions, garlic, a few chilies, but they were already basically drained in the oil they were in. Just finished the oil, so I put the chilies in, garlic, onions. Also some, yeah, it doesn't matter, just stuff. Now I'm gonna add pumpkin. I think the lentils are their own meal. Not quite sure. And then I'm gonna do something else with it, but you're gonna see that later. Okay. I think that's all I wanted to say. I'll hit the record button. All right. Okay. I cannot say how reluctant I was to do this. Okay, I'm just going to show you. This is dough. I took fennel seeds and cumin seeds. And I used boiling water. I'm a bit tired now, which is what makes this really hard. And I already made this dough yesterday. And then I took normal flour, spelt flour, white flour. I put it with salt and these seeds into this pot. Right? It's like good size. And I put hot water on top. And then I stirred it with a spoon, and that makes it really nice and fluffy. And I also added, then I added baking powder, natural baking powder. And so it's bicarbonate of soda and some kind of acid regulator. And then I added full corn spelt flour. And then I mixed it until I had a dough. And I already used it once. And now I'm going to keep working on this. I'm not sure, it's maybe some kind of quiche, right? I'm not quite sure. This is what I was cooking earlier. So it's onions, garlic, ginger, a bit of olive oil, basically nothing, a bit of chili, pumpkin, Hokkaido pumpkin, bay leaves, 3 bay leaves. It was quite a bit of onions. Then salt and turmeric powder, fresh turmeric. I could have added, I'm not sure if I added pepper. I don't think it's necessary. It's good like this. And I'm going to work on this. I'm just going to put this to the side. This bread you could also do in a different way. And with different, I mean yeah, what do I mean with this? Okay, now I have to be a bit more precise. I have no means of saying how much I put in there. I cook entirely on feeling. But I used recipes before. So I have cooked a lot, like really a lot. I have cooked a lot. I experimented a lot. I had vegetarian cooking books and I experiment a bit with meat, but I'm not too fond of it. I like vegetarian kitchen, even vegan. I learned from everyone that I could learn something from. So I could say from my mother I learned making cakes. But while I was living abroad and studying, I had a great opportunity to view all kinds of people in the kitchen, a lot of French people, one British guy, and they would, okay, I'm just gonna leave it like this, I think. So it's some kind of pizza. I don't have anything special. This is just gonna be a pumpkin pizza. Okay, what I could do is actually I could create a layer of tamarind sauce because I have it, and what's the point of holding on to it? Yeah, I certainly have a knack for just opening the fridge and seeing what I have available. You know, I assume this is still good. This is Oriental Tamarind Paste. I just got that from an Asian shop. It contains tamarind, water, salt, acidity regulator, E330, and preservatives. And tamarind is at least said or known to cleanse the pineal gland, which helps to open the third eye and to remain conscious, which then helps with dreaming, with, not just dreaming, what am I trying to say here? It helps with dreaming, it helps with meditation, it helps with basically your entire life, because the more conscious you are of yourself and your position in life, which is what you need the third eye for also, to, assume the holistic approach. The third eye is kind of the third person that gives you an all-around view, including, yourself in the environment that you find yourself in. And that means that, if you open your third eye and you learn to deal more with this kind of character that you're playing, you can observe him. You still feel everything that's going on, but because there's the observer somewhere in the distance, you can be a bit detached from what is happening to you, which then helps you with your Zen, right? To be in Zen, to be chilled, to be relaxed, if you will. And that means you suddenly have, because you relax more into your situation and your environment, because you also live in a state of acceptance. And because of your third eye view, right, you can look at your surroundings and you can say, could I improve something? What could make this place better or this situation? But sometimes it's just too much input, because you pick up all these things that you could change. I could change my diet, I could change, my physical appearance or prowess, and I could, fit so many things into my schedule. But you first have to, basically let go of a lot of these things, and then you basically stop doing what you're doing. And then you figure out if you really actually liked it. Because if you're convinced, for instance, that you have to go for runs, then you can never, just stay at home and practice your yoga and your meditation and your breathing, because you think, no, I have to run because it's good for you. And I simply went through times in my life where I just stopped running completely. And I did run a lot, I still know how to run. But for me, it became more important to be comfortable at home and to manage, keeping my place at least a bit clean. That's still something I'm working on, to say the least. So now I'm just going to put some soy sauce over it. Okay, what would be really nice, it's always, how could I improve this? Well, I can add a bit of mayonnaise in the end, but to even consider putting that on before it comes out of the oven, is an atrocity. I once witnessed how somebody wanted to take a salad containing vegan mayonnaise and turn it into a soup. We were cooking together, and at that point I just jammed, we were like hitting the accelerator. There are just some things you just can never do. I mean, that's just the respect for the food. I mean, if it's a salad, you can't make a soup out of it. I mean, especially if it's a salad, if it's like a vegetable salad, but it had literally mayonnaise in it. I just thought that was too disgusting. I mean, vegan mayonnaise is fairly easy to make. You can take soy milk and you can take, I just want to show you. Okay? No, I told you it was going to be nice. Okay, the recipe for the dough. I'll just have to get back to that some other time. This already took me more than enough patience to get to it. So I waited until I felt ready. And I'm going to put this at the bottom. I have a small... Yeah, man. I mean, some people are so insecure, you literally have to show them everything. This is the setup. I put it at the bottom now so that it bakes crunchy underneath, right? And just heats up from the top. And then I have it on 180 or something. And I think, it's like pizza time, right? 10 minutes, 14 minutes. If you want it nice and crunchy, this is the way to go. And you can also put it on less and then just check it in between. Okay, this is wood that should not be on there while this is on. At least I have it together to such a degree that I remember, once I used it. Okay, so this is basically what I had in mind. I'm gonna keep the garlic here. Now, it says I should put it in the fridge because garlic... Hey, look at this. Spider friend. Yeah, but cobwebs should go because they trap energy. I'm just saying. I really waited an incredible amount before I actually decided to do this. And why? Because I already did so much today. I mean, I recorded myself in so many different ways. I made art. I wrote a couple of pages in my new book, Mentality of a Warrior, called It Took Me a While to Get There. It's a subtitle. And now I'm in this position of actually really enjoying. So I did Instagram, I did YouTube, mostly like silent with music, and then I danced for myself. I did some workout that I did not record, simply because sometimes you just need times for yourself. I'm also wearing... I'm not wearing mittens yet. I'm wearing warm, comfortable clothes. I'm opening up to the idea of watching a movie, or I just make more art. That's sometimes hard to decide. I'm always trying to do everything at once, but sometimes it's also really nice to simply say, hey, I'm just gonna do only this now, and not everything else. So what I also have to work on is the jingle for Dream Kitchen, which is, of course, you will already have it here, but my SD card is now full, entirely full, or almost. Still have a couple of minutes left, which means that I have no more options left. I have to do this thing with the Dream Kitchen, and then push more videos out. To what degree can you plan ahead? To no degree. I mean, you can plan ahead as long as you have time, but it may, something may happen every day and every second. Something may happen that you may have expected or felt it was coming, but you can never be sure, when it's there. It's just going to be there suddenly, and then you have to deal with it. And that's why I'm also quite nervous First of all, to simply, at the moment, what's important to me is to keep going. And what I realized for myself is that, if I wake up and I just take my time, I first drink a bit of tea, and then I start my morning routine, just a bit of movement, and then I just do something on the computer. If I want to do art, that's a good way to start. And then I just do that, and then, at some point, that's how it worked today. I'm never sure if it's going to work like that tomorrow. And I'm also glad, because I don't want to be in such a dead routine. I want to be open also for change always. So tomorrow I'll see, right? And that makes my day always a little bit difficult to navigate, to say the least, because it's such a challenge to be open to spontaneous things, right? If somebody would call you and have a proposition and you would find it, very challenging to resist it, and you would say, okay, let's do this, then you have to be in a position where you can actually accept it, which is why at the moment I feel good. I should do dishes. I have done most of my laundry. It's still lying around here, but it's already clean. And at the moment, what I really want to focus on is also my work. And then I just learn how to, manage to keep eating by making food. And today I really stretched it out. Don't know how that works. I just felt full. Somehow I felt full, but also it was a challenge. But I managed most of the day also without smoking, without really eating. I did snack a bit, and I already did the cooking earlier, which I'm glad about. And I think that's all I can say, really. It certainly is interesting to see my own development. And what helps me always, because if I'm living just seeing myself from within, I kind of sometimes get the feeling I'm really disgusting or I'm weird. And then I watch myself as I record myself and I think, that's actually okay. I mean, what's disgusting? I think disgusting is, judging other people is disgusting. That's just a perspective. Anyway, without trying to self-glorify myself too much, I'm just going to stop this recording and maybe film it when it's done before eating. I'm not quite sure. Or I'll just keep that to myself and just let your own imagination, fill, because you don't have to put, this is just a simple setup. You don't need yeast. I'm staying away from yeast. Sometimes I will drink beer, but mostly I will stay away from yeast. Because if you have too much yeast in your body, then, you will probably crave more sugar. And I have incredibly reduced the amount of sugar that I eat. I have basically learned restraint in so many ways. I don't have to do things 10 times anymore. I'll just do it once. So if I eat once a day, a proper meal, and then I time it, because after eating I'll be sleepy, which is then, during the evening is then probably a good time to eat, But I never saw it that way, because I was stuck at, you have to have breakfast, you have to have lunch, and then you have to have dinner. That's very good for the supermarkets and the food industry, but for my body, it's a complete overload of everything, of information. So sometimes, I start to enjoy it to be at least a bit empty, to just keep myself going with, maybe if I crave it, a bit of tobacco, maybe if I crave it, a bit of weed. If it helps me, if I realize that smoking, that I maybe smoke too much and I'm just sitting in the corner, well, then maybe I should just start reducing it, because I had phases where I didn't smoke at all. And then I started again and it was again too much, and then I stopped again, and then, now I'm fiddling my way through this with just timing when I smoke exactly right. So when I feel like now I need a coffee, I'll drink that, and then I start writing. And then I feel like, I don't want to write. And then, it's like this inner dialogue. And then it says, just write, man. You want to get this book done, you have to work on it. And it's a lot of work. No idea how long that's going to take me. No idea how often I will leave the house in the meantime. What I really want to do at the moment is finish the book. And so maybe I will start writing through the night again. I'm not sure about it at the moment. But what I can be sure about that this is going to be a well-deserved, and that's the nice thing about waiting till the evening before you really eat. Because think about it, if you wake up and the first thing you do is just, shove something into your face, what did you do to deserve this? I mean, you just did nothing. You only woke up and the first thing you give yourself is a coffee, a product of complete luxury. I mean, do you know what people would normally have to do to get coffee? They did it as ceremonies. The whole village came together and then they had a coffee ceremony. They roasted the beans fresh and then they had this thing. They still do it in some places. They put on the coals and then they made coffee and then they drink it all together and then they continue with their business. That's the time for coming together. I just go to the shop. I just buy however much I want, and then I can drink until I'm, basically dead. And that's why I started to say, what, I have to earn the coffee. I really have to earn the coffee. And that means you wake up and you start working, and when you feel like you've worked enough, and you're getting a little bit tired and you would like to push through with something else or whatever, then you drink the coffee. And maybe what you realize is that, maybe for making art, it would be a bit too much of a boost. But for writing, coffee is excellent. Because it's just like, And I use nutmeg and icing sugar, just a teaspoon. And I made a strong espresso shot. And I also put a bit of coffee cream in it. It was nice. I'm really glad I discovered also things to flavor my coffee, because I get bored. If it's just coffee without anything, I get so bored. And maybe I'll manage to just completely rid myself of sugar, because except for this, I just ate no sugar today. I just had this, and for me, I'm the guy who at the age of 16 used to just eat sugar cubes, or at the age of 12 I just ate sugar cubes. I just bought a whole package of cookies and I just ate them just like that, I was completely addicted. And now I start to soak things like this, bake chickpeas. I'm already soaking lentils for later usage, could maybe go in the fridge. But I think, it can it can ferment a little. Okay, let's just check it. Okay, it's definitely a bit different than pizza. Okay, I still got 2 minutes 40. Let's see if I can make it in that time without rushing it too much. Because rushing food is the best way to ruin it. Yeah, it's certainly quite wet. I'm not so sure. Okay, maybe I should put it... Or I think that's just the dough. No, this has to go again. Okay. I'll just give it 5 more minutes. And then I can have a snack. Put these things back. And that's also what I like. If I cook, I clean. If you cook, you clean. That's the best package. I like it that way. If I cook, I clean, right? If I cook, I clean. If you cook, you clean. Because when you cook and you clean, and our child is angry, I'll take care of that. And then I have, like an hour or 2 hours time. And then we can just eat together, and then I'll keep taking care of the child. I like that idea, because otherwise, it's like an imbalance because everybody wants to be greedy with the child. So everybody gets enough time with the child and then we can get enough time with each other. Or we just cook together and have the child, hanging on our backs. With like an African thing. Oh, 28 seconds. You're not gonna see it. Yeah, doesn't really matter, It doesn't matter because I'm gonna eat it. It's gonna be delicious. And that's 11, 10, 9, 8, 7. I like doing countdowns. 4, 3, 2. I really like doing countdowns. 1, 0. Not really. What's this? It's still going on. How long is it going to go on? Now I look like a fool. It's almost a bit romantic, isn't it? You like this, don't you? Do you like this? Do you like this? Wait, this is from... Oh yeah, this is from Adolf Linkler in Rick and Morty. Do you like this? It's like, well, you're kind of being screwed by giant tentacle monsters. What is this? Now it suddenly says I've still got a minute. I mean, that's frustrating. I mean, if it's nothing else, then it's frustrating. You think it's over, and then suddenly it continues. It's like a relationship where you prepare yourself that it's over, and then it wants to continue. It's the worst. Because when you are at that point where you say it's over, and then you just want to make your peace with it, unless you feel in your heart it was never over. At least one has to hold on. And then the question is, how far does the other one want to get away from you? And if they want to spend more time with you again. And I was very clear on that point, right? That if I choose a woman and she would decide to sleep with another man, for me, yeah, forget it. Forget it, because it's my way to keep our marriage safe. To say, I keep you safe from betrayal and I keep myself safe from betrayal, because I think it would hurt us. And, if we were to have children, it would hurt them. And so I'll just work hard